Welcome back to Clash of Cultures. We continue our 2023 college football preview. Our next stop takes us to Lubbock, Texas, to visit the Texas Tech Red Raiders. But like always, before we get to football, we want to continue to thank you guys for the love and support. Our numbers continue to go up, and man, we are amazed at the response. Continue to please press the like and subscribe button. Comment below on your thoughts, ideas, agreements, and disagreements. And keep engaging because we appreciate it. But with that being said, Stephen, I'm sorry, before we get to that, I'm asking a series of questions. I'm going to tell you where these are coming from.
So this is the trivia. Blitz. This is the trivia, by the way, guys.
This is the trivia. So Saturday Blitz, 10 questions. Are you ready? First question. Which team has the highest total of wins in the FBS?
Like all time?
All time. Damn, how do you not know this? This is easy.
It has to be like is it a school that's like still prominent now? Like
yeah, they're prominent now.
It's not Alabama. It can't be Ohio. Is it Oklahoma?
No.
Is it USC?
No.
I was thinking it's like Harvard or something like that. Like somebody who's
not. It is a team that's prominent now.
I don't know who is it.
I'm shocked you don't know this.
Who is it?
They literally talk about it all the time. It's Michigan.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was like a team like Yale or something that like played like way back. Because you know how a lot of teams like didn't start until way later. So that's why I thought it was one of those.
All right, question 2. Which team has had the most players drafted in the first round of the NFL?
Ohio State.
No.
It's not Ohio State?
No.
Since like ever or?
Yeah, ever.
You sure it's not Ohio State?
Yes.
Is it Alabama?
No.
USC.
USC.
Okay. I saw a graphic like literally like 2 days ago that had something about Ohio State like with draft.
I think maybe in the last like 10 years or 15 years.
Okay. That's why I responded so quick. I just saw that like literally 2 days ago.
All right. Which team has the most overall bowl wins?
Oh my goodness. It's got to be another like top team.
This is prominent team.
I want to say Penn State, but I don't think it's Penn State.
It's not Penn State.
Is it a Big Ten school?
No.
Is it Alabama?
Alabama.
That's so weird.
Why is that weird?
I don't know. How long have they been like a program? I just feel like when you're talking about like historical numbers, like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I don't know.
What team has the highest winning percentage in FBS?
Is this another prominent school?
Yes. I'm not going to give you a hint.
Is it USC again?
No. USC is not in the top 5.
Okay. Is it Ohio State?
No. Ohio State is number
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Michigan.
Michigan's number 1.
What the heck?
All right. Which team has won the most overall conference championships?
Alabama.
No. This one, I don't think you'll get.
Okay. Is it Brown University?
No.
Yale, Harvard.
It's a school. Let me see. It's a school that you know, but you wouldn't guess.
I don't know. Who is it?
Let me see if I can help you. They've won these. This may help you, but it may not. They've won these in 4 different conferences.
Navy, Notre Dame.
Navy and Notre Dame, I don't think have ever been part of a conference.
Well, that's why I'm thinking like maybe they just been moving around. I don't know. Who is it?
Okay, is the school that you know, I'm going to help you, that has moved conferences, but they have not won a conference championship in the conference they moved to?
Texas A&M?
No. They moved in, I think, like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Who is it? I don't know who it is.
Nebraska. All right, we'll stop there for now.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do the other 5 next one. That was a weird one. I didn't know they were ever. I know they were in the Big East, right?
So they've won conference championships in the Missouri Valley, the Big 12, the Big 8,
The Big Eight.
and the Western Interstate University Football Conference.
Come on, bro. I'm not old enough to know about all that.
Yeah,
when was that even a thing?
Before. I don't know.
Okay,
I remember they were in the Big 12. The Big 8 was before the Big 12. They added 4 teams to become the Big 12. But I don't remember, like, back to the Missouri Valley Conference. I don't remember that.
Alrighty. All right. Well, nonetheless, let's get into talking about Texas Tech. That was a long trivia. So if you guys know the answers to that, let me know. Those ones were pretty hard in my opinion. But we'll go ahead and talk about Texas Tech. They're coming in ranked FPI number 22 with the win-loss projection of 7.5 and 4.5, so about 7-5 or so, with almost a 4% chance to win the Big 12, which is higher than Kansas State and UCF, I believe, which is a little bit surprising. But I mean, last year they were 8-5, bringing back a lot of people, got a lot of good transfers, lost a few people as well. So, I mean, I think when you look at this team, the first thing I think of is as we were going along through all these previews, and we were saying how the Pac-12 is the most deep conference, I think the Big 12 is going to be pretty competitive as well. Not to say, so it's a little bit different because I think the Pac-12 has a few serious playoff contenders. I don't think the Big 12 has a lot of playoff contenders, but I think it's going to be competitive in the sense that all the teams are very kind of equivalent. They're going to be competitive. I can see, anywhere between 4 and 7 teams winning this conference, and I wouldn't be surprised when you're looking at Texas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU, and Texas Tech, even UCF. I wouldn't be surprised. So a lot of things I think would have to go right for this team to win the conference. But obviously ESPN has given them respect, being a top 25 team, according to them heading into the season, giving them a higher % chance to win the conference than the reigning champs and the Wildcats in Kansas State. But before we kind of move on to the next slide, what do you think about them and your projection for them?
Yeah, so last year was kind of a weird year in terms of the quarterback position for them. So they played 3 quarterbacks literally a decent amount of time. Now, I know we will talk about them, so I won't get too deep into them, but they played 3 quarterbacks. Really, 3 quarterbacks went over 1,000 yards passing. The defense is mostly back, and I think that any success that Texas Tech has this year, it's not really going to be, and we'll talk about Tyler Sloan. He's coming back probably as the presumed starter. But they also, and I think you have it, you don't have it. But the other backup or the quarterback that they had, Donovan Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Donovan Smith is no longer there. He started some games. Tyler Sloan came in late in the season. I think led them to, like 4 out of 5 wins late in the season. But so I think one is shoring up the quarterback position. They have some skilled players, as you can see, some of the returners there to include, and I am going to mess this guy's name up, Sheridan Nick Thompson, the running back coming back. He went for 600. Oh, I'm sorry, he left. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he left.
But they're bringing
Taj
back
Brooks.
Taj Brooks. Yeah, Taj Brooks is back. Taj Brooks went for almost 700 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. So with really kind of, I guess you say, your de facto starting quarterback back, your de facto starting running back. Again, you did lose 1 in your 2 deep, but your de facto starting running back. You also bring back your number 1 receiver. If you see Bradley back, almost a 750-yard receiver last year, 6 touchdowns. So the tools are there on offense, but really what I like is what they're bringing back on defense. So you can see on Steven's page, Jalen Hutchings, probably one of the best interior defensive linemen in college football, returning last year. That guy is a true beast, and they're bringing back a good portion of that defense. Again, they did lose Tyree Wilson. I think he's first-round draft pick, I believe.
Yes.
But I believe, and we'll talk about the transfers, Steve Linton will be able to replace what they lost, and they brought back they brought in CJ Baskersville from San Diego State, who I think will also start next year. So I think that defense is going to really carry him. This is probably going to be the best defense in the Big 12 next year?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of good defenses in the Big 12. But I mean, we can't not highlight the fact they lost Tyree Wilson. He was their best player on the entire team. Obviously, he was their first-round draft pick. They did have, according to just total defense, they had the best defense in the Big 12 last year. They led the conference in sacks last year. A lot of that came from Tyree Wilson. A lot of that production came from Tyree Wilson. So I don't know how much of a drop-off we're going to see from him being a first-round draft pick. I don't think it's going to be a major drop-off. Like you said, you brought over Steve Linton from Syracuse. Last year he had 4 sacks. You didn't highlight DeAndre McCray, who is going to complement Jerand Bradley and Miles Price. Last year he had 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns from Austin Peay. You bring over Rusty Stats from Western Kentucky. So I think there's going to be a lot of kind of focus on the defensive line, losing Tyree Wilson, but I think they can kind of plug in Steve Linton, and he's not going to be the player Tyree was, but I think they're still going to be productive. Offensively, this was the most aggressive team in all of college football. They had the most fourth down attempts, converting 63% of them, which is kind of crazy, which is top 15 nationally, and you have the most attempts. So it's not like they were only going once or twice a week. They're going 3 or 4 times a game, which is kind of crazy. They're returning 6 starters on defense, like we talked about. So I think there's going to be a lot of room to improve and room to grow with the experience. And then you can plug and play. But I think the biggest highlight of this screen to me is a recruiting class. You have a top 25 recruiting class as Texas Tech. You don't expect that from a team like them. They haven't really been at the pinnacle of college football in years. They had never been in playoff talks in the last 9 seasons since we moved to playoff format. So getting a top 25 class, being 4 of 10 in the Big 12, really it's 4 out of 12 because you add the 2 other teams. Right. 5 4-stars, 23 stars. Jake Strong's going to be a hell of a quarterback when he steps in line in a year or 2. So I think this is going to be a really good team this year. But I don't know if I'm willing to say that they're going to make it to the conference championship. I still think they have some areas to improve offensively. But I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. I think they're going to be pretty good. We'll move on to the next screen. We can give our predictions. I'll go ahead and go first. So I have the floor at 5-7, the ceiling at 10-2. My prediction is 8-4 with losses to Oregon, at Baylor, Kansas State, and at Texas. A lot of these games are swing games, though. The only 2 games I don't think they really have a chance to win in is the Oregon and the Texas game. But with the floor being 5-7, I think Wyoming, Tarleton, Houston, and West Virginia are 4 surefire wins. And then I think
hold on. I need to highlight something.
Go ahead.
Who the fuck is Tarleton? What is that? What is that? Who is a Tarleton? Where do they find these schools? These are schools I've met. This is, and again, this goes to your point you were talking about in your 5 things you would change about college football, right? This is a D7 school. This ain't even a D2.
Hold on.
Where is this?
Let me look at.
Why are they playing Tarleton? That's unfair to Tarleton. These are D1 players playing some community college. Who is Tarleton? Why did the Big 12, why does NCAA football allow Texas Tech to schedule a game against Tarleton? So I looked at that and I was like, this must be a typo.
Tarleton plays against North Alabama, Eastern Kentucky, Stephen F. Austin, Morehead State, so teams like that. I don't know why they're playing them.
I looked, I was like, yo, that must supposed to say Tar Heels or something else, because that's not a real school. I've never heard of no Tarleton. Why? How is this legal?
It's crazy. So just to go on a quick tangent. So in our North Carolina video, now that you brought up Tar Heels, I was going back and forth with the guy in the comment section. He was basically saying how you and I, we didn't exude sports knowledge because we didn't know who the Campbell Camels were, and that we're not knowledgeable.
Nobody knows. This dude. Let me talk to him personally right now for a second. Let me talk to him. Nobody knows who the Campbell Campbells is.
He had a scholarship.
All right, don't try to come out like some genius. I know football because I know the Campbell Campbells. That's a high school team. I think my son went to Campbell. That's not a real fucking school.
He actually did. That is funny as hell.
Yeah, went to Campbell.
That is hilarious. I'm gonna put
come off like some. You don't exude sports knowledge. Okay, cool. If our expectation, if the expectation you have of us is to know Tarleton and the Campbells, then I'm sorry we don't meet your expectations. All right, we just fall short. That's just what I got to take on the chin. I don't know Campbell's, the high school team, and the Tarleton Tigers. I don't know them. I'm sorry. If that makes what I say no longer valid, no longer reliable, then so be it. I got to take that one. I don't know Tarleton and Campbell. Let me get my knowledge up.
They're actually the Tarleton Texan Riders.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, how did you come up with the prediction of 7-5?
Because they play Tarleton. No. So yeah. First of all, I think like you mentioned, Oregon, Texas. I think those are 2 losses. It's hard, and it's hard with the Big 12. And I think this goes right to your point. There are a bunch of teams that I think that are good. I think the problem with the Big 12, as you compare them to the Pac-12, is also exactly what you said. I don't think there's any team in the Big 12 this year that I think is great. But I think they have a number of very good teams. So all of these games, to me, are almost like a coin toss. The Baylor game. Would I be shocked if Texas Tech beat Baylor, Kansas State, TCU? No. Would I be shocked if they lost to BYU, Kansas, UCF, West Virginia? No. This is a hard conference to predict. Would I be shocked if they lost to Tarleton or Campbell, though? Absolutely.
All right, Joe.
Because that's a high school team.
Anyways, Texas Tech fans, if you guys in the comment section, let us know what you think about your guys' season. What is your prediction for the Big 12 as a whole as well? If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. We just hit 650 subscribers. We're doing another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers.
We got more subscribers than Tarleton got people at the school.
But as always, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.